Oftentimes in completing a project, there will be a need for communicating information to the next person working on the project, whether it be the builder or the salesperson. Sometimes those notes can be communicated right on the layout, such as this, where you might need to verify an opening. But there's other times where there's information that you don't really want to put on the layout, but you still want to make a communication to the next user. So let's say, for example, that these joists here on the plans were called in two different ways. One way called them for them to be 110s, another way called them for them to be 210s. We've called them here as 210s in this case, but we want to make sure that the next user understands that or knows that as they look over the plan. So we go to our List tab and go to the second floor pack, which is where we've been putting all this material. And here are those 210 joists. So I can right click and I can choose to create a note about those. First, I'm going to give it a title. So we'll call this joist material type. And then after a title's been given, if you tab to the right, you see that there's different options of how you can specify what this note is about, such as for your information or the building design or the quantity of the material. In this case, we'll just say the type of material is in question. And then in the items to reference, the goal of this field is to simply indicate very clearly to the customer where the problems are or where it is that you were seeing an issue. So in this case, on page S2, a specific spot on the plan, the framing plan calls for the joists over the living room to be TGI 210s. On page S3, again making a very specific reference to part of the plan, the same joists are called as being 110s in the sections. So we make that note here for TGI 110s. So we describe the obvious discrepancy, and then we tell them what decision that we made. Under my conclusions, I called in this case, the TGI 210s because I was following the framing plan. So I'd tell the customer that that's the decision I made and why I made it. And then in the lower section, or the last section, there's a spot for recommendations. In this case, I'm going to recommend that the salesperson verify with the builder that the desired materials are being used. So again, the goal of the note isn't just to write down a little bit of information, but to actually present it in a way so that clarity is added to the project. So that's why the notes in the software are structured in this fashion, to ensure that proper communication happens. As soon as we add the note, click OK, and there is an N for a note indicator that's going to show up on that line item. So notes can be added to a very specific line item, or they can also be added at a couple other levels. One is the list level, which is right here. So if there were multiple lists, such as a house and a garage, or building A and building B, we could create a note for that specific list. Or go up even higher and you can go to the project itself, and that would be a note that you would create about the whole project. So it's a project-wide note. So you can make these different notes, different places, and then they will print out then when you print the material list in 8.5 by 11 form. And we'll show you that in a later video.